should you fit a tracker to your motorcycle? Today we're up in Sheffield at our favourite place full of shiny bikes, the Bike Specialists. And we've got our friends from BikeTrack over to have a little bit of fun with the tracking system fitted to Lara's Supermoto. Now we're going to cover some of the things that you can do with the tracker over and above getting it back if the bike gets stolen. But on top of that, we're going to send Lara off and see if we can use BikeTrack's technology to find where she's hidden. To help us in today's impromptu game of Hunt the Lara, we have got Bill from BikeTrack. Bill, welcome.
How you doing?
Good to see you, mate.
You too.
Now, I think it was 14 years ago you came and fitted a tracker to my long-term test bike at Superbike magazine, which shows how long you guys have been going. And anyone who follows our social media knows that pretty much every Monday we put a post of how many bikes you guys have recovered over the years. Tell us, from your point of view, what makes a BikeTrack tracker the most effective way of saving and protecting your bike?
It's part of a layered approach. So back when we first met, the average recovery rate was about 40%. With tracking, it's over 90% now.
Wow. So
you've got a much, much better chance of getting your bike back, and with technology moving on, that's what we can bring to the table. So back when we met, alarms were great. Thieves, as technology has moved on, and recoveries and things coming in a different form now.
Nice. Well, we're going to talk about a few of the other things and maybe debunk a few myths about trackers. But first, we're going to give Lara a little head start. Lara, I'm going to start counting, you go hide. Ready, steady, go.
Ultimate hide and seek.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, well, I have been released from the Bike Specialist, saying goodbye to Bill at BikeTrack and Chris. And I've been launched on a little journey to go and, play hide and seek.
So today, obviously, the bike hasn't been stolen, unless something terrible's happened outside this building, which I'm hoping not. But there's a few other features in BikeTrack that you can use with your friends and family. So if you're going on a trip, you can share your location. So can you just talk us through that now?
Certainly. So in the event of a normal theft, the customer gets an alert. So if the bike was moved for more than 25 seconds without the key being turned on, you did a telephone call, text, email. It was at 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So you confirm a theft. We've got a monitoring centre involved, and we do all the liaison on your behalf. Another service is just as a friends and family and a mate. You can see where your friends are. So you go touring. So if you hop on another Goldwing, you want to do your tour around Europe, this is what you'd see. So you can actually track them in real time. It would show you the battery level of the bike, as if you're interested to know that. But more importantly, you get up to date, every 60-second update location of where they are.
Perfect.
God forbid they had an accident, we have a bike down feature. So if she has a spill, or the rider has a spill, goes over 70 degrees for more than 45 seconds, it will send you an alert.
So if Lara drops her bike at the traffic lights, we'll be able to phone her up and abuse her. I mean, offer help.
You can show your loving care.
That's the one. That's what we're going to do.
But also, if your bike gets knocked over in a car park and you're just in the office, that will send a bike down alert again, just to let you know something's happened to it.
And that's just, you literally just log on to that through a normal web browser.
Because of the security, the rider would have to share the login details with you.
Yeah.
But you can do it on a computer, you can do it via the app on the phone, either or.
Fab. Well, we'll give her a little bit more of a head start. I think it's about time me and you had a mooch around some of the shiny bikes in here.
Sounds like a plan.
And then we'll jump in the van and see if we can catch her.
So when I park my beloved gas up, my beloved Supermoto, I do find it much more comforting knowing that it can be tracked. I know exactly where it is, so I use the BikeTrack app. It's actually called AllTrack, and it tells me like the mileage and the battery level, battery voltage, which is quite useful. Saves getting the multimeter out. And then it tells me what current state the bike's in and where it is, which is typically in my garage, or if I've left it out on a busy street or left it somewhere irresponsible. I know where it is.
How are we looking, Bill? We've tracked her movements, but we can tell from that she's actually stopped, can't we?
She has, yep. So she's not, engine's off now, so this would go green when the ignition's turned on. So she's stopped just off Savile Street.
Right, looks like a moody old factory, doesn't it? Right, let's go hunting some Lara. Yeah, I've used trackers a lot, use your trackers a lot, and I'm a big fan of the peace of mind they give you, because, put short, I had a bike stolen. I had a few bikes stolen at my garage a long time ago, which was rubbish. And I found myself after that just being paranoid forever, like constantly going into the garage, going to look out the window, getting up at 4 a.m. to look out the curtains to see if the garage door was still shut. And putting a tracker on my bike kind of solved that, because I just got the app out of my pocket, which meant I didn't have to get out of bed to see if my bike was still there. And you know, if it moves, you get a text message. So that's, for me, the big peace of mind is being able to spot where your bike is at all times. Do you give that information? So if a bike gets stolen, you guys don't give that information about where it's gone to the customer. Instead, you guys go and retrieve it on their behalf. Is there a kind of reason behind that?
When BikeTrack became Thatcham accredited, at the time it was part of the stipulation that you had to block out the customer from a safety point of view.
Right.
Now, to be fair, they have actually taken that section of the accreditation out. Unless we're 99% sure the area is okay and they're not going to be pounced on, yes, we do hide the location.
Yeah.
We just don't want people getting hurt. It's real simple.
Yeah.
You know, so generally, like all tracking products, they rely on the police. So first point of call, we'll let the police know where the location of the bike is. Now, when I do a lot of shows, and generally the police get a complete slating. They don't do anything. And with our experience, well, we all know they've had cutbacks to start with. But with our experience, if we can give the police a real-time location of where the bike is, the customer's had to confirm the theft of the bike, it means they can act on it, and there's a very high chance we're not going to take a lot of their time up.
Right.
So they do deploy. However, bike theft, although it's important, there is other crime that can be a bit more sinister. So their time does get soaked up, which is why we've taken the step and got a partnership with Securitas.
Right.
So I did door work for 25 years, and part of being the doors, you had an accreditation, an SIA accreditation, which meant you were known to the police, you were CRB checked, you were licensed. And for me, that was important. So instead of getting a few lads my size in a van hunting around the country, so we got a partnership with Securitas. So all the staff are SIA accredited, getting CRB checked. And if the police can't attend within an hour of the bike being stolen, they attend for us.
Oh, perfect.
So it means
there's not that like horrible feeling of the police not doing anything.
Absolutely.
You guys have got like another layer
absolutely
above that.
I found myself a bit of a rundown old warehouse place. Sheffield is full of these old kind of derelict buildings, and after stealing my bike, I'm going to want to put it somewhere nice and out of the way, cover it a bit of the tarpaulin, and
I guess if you're doing a road trip, and you're going on your own, for instance, you can at least know, family and friends can know where you are and how far you've got, and that you're still safe and moving.
Absolutely, it's far more. The problem is, I'm selling a product, as much as I love it, that people don't necessarily want.
We don't want to have it, do we?
It's not on the top of the list when you buy a new bike. You want to get the new kit, and security's definitely not there. But with its proven track record, tracking in general does make a big difference. So we've added a bit of fun to it, so you can interact with it. You get the app, like, you know, Lara shared her login details with us, so we're able to see where she is. But if, like, say, if you go touring, you can use that to see where friends and family are. And again, for youngsters getting their first bike as a parent, when your son turns 17, he's like, hang on a minute, where is he? You know, he's not where he should be. It just means he gives you an extra level of comfort, as well as the protection of the bike as well.
The other option is you just put all vehicles in the middle of a city and no one moves anywhere, so there's no need for security.
well, I've chosen a pretty good rundown industrial estate. And I'm going to dump the bike somewhere, cover it in tarpaulin, hide it somewhere, and see what happens.
Lara's obviously stopped in a big warehouse. That's actually given us an address of where she's parked, doesn't it?
It has. It shows you the postcode and the address of where she is.
Right, let's go find Lara. So there was one more thing that is probably fallout from my experience with alarms over the years, which anyone who was into motorcycling in the late 90s, early 2000s will know. You fit an alarm to your bike and 90% of what it does is beep at you annoy you and then run your battery flat. And it didn't seem to matter how much money you spent on an alarm. They did those 3 things: beeped to you, annoyed you, ran your battery flat, in that order. And I know there's been some bad press around trackers in that vein. Put our mind at rest. Is the BikeTrack tracker going to run the battery flat on my bike?
No.
Why not?
It also depends on how often you use the bike. So our device, so all trackers they all have the same concept in mind. So ours has what's called a cool-on counter. So without getting technical, imagine the battery in the device like a bucket of water.
Yep.
When you're riding, we take a constant charge.
Yeah.
So we charge up our battery at the optimum point when the engine's running. When you turn the ignition off, our device will cannibalise its own internal battery.
Right.
So once we're full, you can park up for at least 6 to 8 weeks generally without having to worry about anything at all. So our device has what's called a heartbeat every 4 hours. You can park your bike up, it'll give you the battery level. First of all, if your battery level starts to drop, it'll text you anyway.
So if the battery on the bike starts to drop, it texts you.
Yeah. But our device, say, will update, and then once the internal battery's dropped by about 15%, generally 2 or 3 weeks, it'll then draw 4 to 8 milliamps, top itself back up, and then stop again. So it really only takes a charge when it needs to. So more often than not, if customers don't, or if people don't use their bikes very often, look, ultimately, yes, it's going to take a bit of a draw, but it's only a minute amount, and then it lets you know anyway when it's going to, if your bike battery gets too far. But because of the cool-on counter, we manage that battery draw.
Right. So it doesn't take a constant draw from the bike.
No.
It only wakes up every 4 to 6 weeks to nick a bit of charge from the bike when it needs it.
Basically.
Right. And if the bike gets too low, it then texts you anyway.
Yes.
I found myself a hidey hole to wait for them.
Lara is, let's have a look. She's in one of these buildings here. So, I think she's in there. Let's have a look at the map. Yeah, so we've just driven in through this bit. The problem with having your name written on your bike, Lara, is we can find you. Is she hiding in the dark?
Yeah, I'm hiding here.
Well, we found Lara's bike. We might not have found Lara.
Couldn't resist. I was hoping to spy and watch you.
In all honesty, that was a bit easy.
Okay.
We just literally used the bit that you've got, the login, so you can track your rides.
Yeah.
Give us a challenge. I'm going to give you another 5-minute head start.
Okay.
I want you to go and hide somewhere where we can't find you with GPS.
Fine. Okay.
You've got the whole of Sheffield to choose from.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Right, we'll shut our eyes and start counting.
Right.
We're going to send Lara
Let's
off
do it. Let's give this a go. Snuggle it away.
Right, let's get your fancy kit out, Bill. Okay, so we've sort of set this up a bit. The whole point today, we showed a lot of what you can do with the user-facing side of the BikeTrack, which is, you know, track your friends and see where they're going. We used that to find Lara last time. To up the ante a little bit, we've come to our mate's place. This is Westbourne Professional and Van and Combi. They've got lots of vans. There's 20 odd vans here. I've just taken Bill for a coffee, well, hot chocolate because I'm a child, but you had a coffee like an adult. And Lara's hidden in one of the vans on the pitch. And this is the bit where, you know, if we're going to mimic a theft scenario, it's like having a yard full of containers or, you know, a block of flats or garages. This is where you've got some special kit now that goes over and above what most other trackers use, and over and above what you can use as a customer to pinpoint exact.
So GPS is good for about 3 to 5 meters.
Yeah.
This will get me down to a meter.
A meter, within a meter.
Yeah.
So if we're within a meter of Lara, we will find her.
Basically.
Right, here's Bill and his fancy RF detector. Let's see how he gets on with this selection of vans that I have dumped my bike in.
So now that looks like a Thunderbird's toy, if I'm honest. What is it and what does it do?
So essentially this is going to help me find the RF now.
Right.
So we've activated the device, and now I see you've given me a few hiding places. I've enjoyed my coffee, so now let's put this to the test and see if I can find the van you put it in.
So in a real situation, you'd use the GPS to get to this car park, for instance, and then that sort of does like the local area. How far does that tend to reach?
We can get about 2 kilometres out. depending on area.
Oh,
But
wow.
because when you're in a town centre or city centre, it draws it right in. So say GPS will get me to an area, and then the RF just helps me hone in on that signal. But if we're in the rural area, so farmland, obviously there's nothing to interfere, the signal travels a lot further.
So that's going to tell us, hopefully, which van Lara's hidden the bike in.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So essentially, doing this for a little while, you recognise the tone that it works on as well.
Right.
Where are we at? Are we getting warmer?
You're a betting man, Chris.
I could be. So you reckon it's one of these three, is it?
I reckon it's one of these two.
Much warmer now. We're back into temperatures I'm happy to sunbathe in.
I'm going to go on this little fella.
I'm going to go with that one because it's got a footstep on the rear bumper. It's got a footprint on it. So we're going with that one, are we?
I'm going for that one.
Final answer.
Final
If I
answer.
was the police, I'd only be opening one of these.
Basically, you would be. So I'd have to go and get a search warrant. No pressure on me.
Hey! And Lara's there. You're
Got
not
my
watching
bike
us
back.
from the other side.
That's a relief. Thanks, Bill.
I think the RF element does make a big difference. That's a real time. They can happen.
Yeah.
I've actually got photos you can use if you want of recoveries I've done when they've been in the back of a van and containers. But that's what the RF helps us do.
Yeah. And will that go through a container queue? Can you hide it under?
Faraday cages are a myth.
Really?
Yeah. Bikes aren't put into the back of an ice cream van or a sealed unit like that. It's normally a normal van.
Yeah.
GPS is normally lost because they've got a metal back window,
Yeah.
no windows or anything like that. So GPS generally is lost in that scenario. Even when you put it in the back of your van and take it to a track, that kind of scenario, you'd lose GPS. But as soon as it pops out or something like this helps us find
Then
it.
it finds it. Hey, Bill, it's been mega fun. Thanks for all your support over the years with
No
BikeTrack.
trouble at all.
And yeah, look, if you want to find out more about BikeTrack, if you've got any questions, just fire them at us below. We'll happily put them to Bill. If not, they can come and grab you at the NEC show, at Motorcycle Live. And yeah, BikeTrack. Find your bike, find your mates. It's a good thing.
I got it back. Thanks, Bill.